in ZAHIMI, my group will be represent for 2007 financial crisis. Before we go in furthermore, what is a financial crisis? Financial crisis is when any capital instruments unexpectedly lose a substantial portion of their nominal worth in a wide spectrum of circumstances. Who is affected? Everyone is affected. Here's how they miss the early clues of the financial crisis. The credit crisis brings groups of people together, homeowners and investors. Homeowners represent their mortgage and investors represent their money. These mortgage represent their houses and this money represent large institutions like pension funds, insurance companies, sovereign funds, mutual funds, etc. These groups brought together through the financial system. A bunch of banks and brokers, commonly known as Wall Street. While it may not seem like it, these banks on Wall Street are closely connected to these houses on Main Street. Who understand how?
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is AIMIN binti SAMSURI and I would like to talk about the cause of the crisis. Although the exact causes of the financial crisis are a matter of dispute among economists, there is general agreement regarding the factors. Which is the first one is the Federal Reserve, or it is the Central Bank of the United States, having anticipated a mild recession that began in 2001, reduced the federal funds rates 11 times between May 2000 and December 2001, from 65% to 1.75%. That significant decrease enabled banks to extend customer credit at a lower prime rate. Second one is owing to changes in banking laws beginning in the 1980s, banks were able to offer to subprime customers mortgage loans that were structured with balance payments. Unusually large payments that are due at or near the end of a loan period, or at the stable interest rates that remain fixed at relatively low levels for an initial period and float, generally with the federal funds rate thereafter. Thirdly, contributing to the growth of subprime lending was the widespread practice of securitization, whereby banks bundle together hundreds or even thousands of subprime mortgage and other less risky forms of consumer debt and sold them or prices of them in capital market as securities or bonds to other banks and investors, including hedge funds and pension funds.
What are the consequences on the global financial system? The crisis has resulted in many bank failures. As the credit tightened and international trade declined, the economy's growth became slower. There were several businesses failed, housing markets were struggling, and unemployment rate has increased, leading to evictions and foreclosures. On June 19, the 2007 of home sales forecast revised down. The National Association of Realtors predicted that in 2007, home sales will decline to $6.18 million. In 2008, $6.41 million. Meanwhile, in 2006, $6.48 million. And NARS may forecast of 6.3 million sales in 2007 and 6.5 million sales in 2008 respectively. The NAR also expected a 1.3% fall in the national median existing home price to $219,100 in 2007.
Recovery from the financial crisis and the Great Recession has been extremely slow for most Americans. The most affect the millions of families that lost their homes, their businesses or the saving of their life, the workers that lost jobs and faced long-term unemployment, and people that fell into poverty keep fighting for years from the worst chaos. Their situation was very much in contrast with the bankers who contribute to the crisis. Some of these managers lost their job when shareholders and the public saw the extent of their mismanagement, but often who resigned did so with the lavish bonuses.
Assalamualaikum, my name is SYAFIQ. There are several ways to overcome financial crisis. Firstly, inflation. Inflation means attempting to boost the economic aggregate demand to achieve higher economic growth. For example, the central bank may reduce interest and implement deficit spending. Other than that, default apply to the government decision to avoid repaying part or more its debt. In this future, this will make it harder for the government to borrow, but ensure they don't have to increase tax to minimize borrowing. Lastly, the value. It's about lowering the value of exchange rate. In the case of euro, grains release the euro and regain its own currency. This will allow their exchange rate to fall effectively and help the economy become more productive.